I used to watch the Joe Rogan Experience a lot. I don't watch it anymore, especially after he reneged on the moon landing. Joe Rogan is an intelligent individual, but he's also a sponsored talk show, okay? Like, he's definitely politically getting paid for the shit that he says, okay? Somebody, whether it's Cash App, Twitter, whoever, they're definitely paying the dude. And the dude is a Halloween costume. If you went to pick out what a fucking UFC fighter would be, you would look like Joe Rogan. And that's what Joe Rogan was. He was a fucking little nerdy dude that is infatuated with muscles, okay? Borderline gay, okay? Always talking about big muscular. I mean, it's just weird, you know? And it's weird that you completely, like, are the host, but you want to be in there, and you want to be in there so bad you went from being the host to being in there, but you're not in there because you don't have the heart to get in there, but you wear a fucking Halloween costume. And then you try to tell people, listen, I'm not saying this to be rude, okay? But if you think all of this shit happened because of a fucking explosion in outer space, you're out of your fucking mind, okay? If you think that the reason why we're here is because of an explosion and that we are monkeys that developed automobiles and electricity, and giraffes and gazelles and zebras just decided to stay in the jungle, and monkeys were the only ones smart enough to evolve, and that monkeys, Joe Rogan thinks that monkeys ate fucking mushrooms. Like, that is just some you don't have to believe in God, okay? I don't care if you believe in God, but I just have to tell you, okay, there's no way. Have you ever seen an animal born, a person born, and they come out of, you know, the womb and everything works? They're like miniature versions of themselves. Dude, we are way too, it'd be different if we were amoebas. We are way too complex. So, when Joe Rogan reneged on the moon, and then, you know, let me tell you this. He only has anti-creation people on his show. If you believe in God, and here's another thing, Joe Rogan, don't do your jokes and apologize. He always does the, oh, I'm not trying to offend people that believe in God, but, you know, blah, blah, and then he'll do his dumb joke. He's a fucking C-rated comic, okay, and people just kiss his ass. His friend, listen, there's no way Joe Rogan, I mean, I don't know if you've tried to watch his special. He's not a good comedian. Okay, here's another thing about Joe Rogan that not a lot of people know, okay? His friend, Joey Diaz, is always talking about the Me Too movement and how you can't judge people from the way they used to be 15 years ago. The reason why Joey Diaz says that, okay, because he's a fucking piece of shit. He's a fucking Cuban that thinks he's fucking Italian, and he's not, okay? He's another actor, okay? Joey Diaz is just another one of these fucking embellishing liars and tries to make himself sound like he's such a fucking, he's an only child. He grew up by himself. You know, his dad died at a young age. I'm not hating on the guy because of that, but he grew up wanting attention. And he makes up all these stories that paints him like he was some rogue night fucking watchman that, you know, just, he was so smooth he could break into your dude. The dude has as much grace as a fucking turtle, okay? Joey Diaz would sexually fucking molest girls, for lack of a better word. And, you know, I'm not even going to say that this was a different time, because it's just creepy no matter what. Girls that wanted to meet Joe Rogan, Joey Diaz would fucking try to get head from him or fuck him to meet Joe Rogan. Listen to him on his podcast talk about the Me Too thing, and he talks about how people change, and you can't judge people on who they were. Yeah, you can, dude. If you're a fucking creepy dude, listen, just because you had a daughter now, another kid, and you're married and your life's going good, doesn't mean that, you know, I'm not saying that people can't change, but take responsibility, okay, for being a fucking creepy, sex addicted fucking cokehead, okay, and admit, because you basically are admitting. He's admitted it in enough podcasts that he used to fucking do this to girls, you know, and that's why he's against the Me Too thing. That's why he's against, you know, like he's always talking about, like, you know, this, that, and he's always talking about it, you know. And Joe Rogan let it happen. Joe Rogan knew this shit was going on, okay? Joe Rogan's a fucking opportunist too, just like Ariel Helwani. When I was doing stand-up comedy, what made me quit comedy was it's just a bunch of people that are like a real stand-up comic. I don't give a fuck if you're Kevin Hart or Dave Chappelle. You're not a real stand-up comic if you have to have people help you write your shit, okay? Chris Rock, Richard Pryor, they're not real comics, okay? It's vaudeville, it's theater. If you have to sit down, you can't smoke a joint by yourself and write shit down, you're not a real fucking comic. You know what I mean? And these people talk about on their podcasts like how fucking lazy they are. Oh, I don't want to travel and don't. It's so fucking, oh my God, I just want to tell him to shut the fuck up. Like, what would Joey Diaz's fat ass do if he had to fucking stand on his feet for longer than 15 minutes? Do you know what I mean?